Maximum unlimited recording time.
Maximum unlimited recording time.
That's a lot of recording time. What are we like, old ladies shopping for hard drives?
What's that?
Like
Old lady
shopping for hard drives? Like, maximum recording time. I can listen to all my grandson's recordings.
My grandson told me to get a Seagate. Ma'am, you're at Wendy's. I don't think we have that.
I'll take a number 2 at a Seagate, please. Diet Coke. Doctor says the sugar's bad for my kidneys, so I'm just gonna go for the Diet Coke.
Grandma, that's okay. She's gonna have her Seagate, so at least she'll have.
Can I get mustard on my Seagate, please?
It'll probably run better if it had mustard on it. Even though I hate mustard.
I love
think
mustard.
Mustard's foul. Yeah. Well, I didn't choose my taste buds, Connor. So.
But you can mold them? Can you?
I don't know about that.
Isn't that
I know the whole like acquired taste thing, but I don't know. There are several foods where people are like, it's an acquired taste. You just have to eat the good stuff. And so I continually try it, and it's continually terrible.
See, like, there's a lot of things that are acquired taste to me, like coffee. Like black coffee is an acquired taste. And I hated black coffee at one point in my life, but I kept drinking it, hoping that I'd like it someday. And I do like it, but it's the weirdest thing because it's just like psychologically I'm forcing myself to like something that just tastes like bitter dirt.
Well, that's correct.
But you just learn the intricacies of whatever you're tasting, and it's, I don't know, all it turns out in the end.
Oh, snap. Hey,
what's
going on, everybody?
We have a podcast.
We sure do.
Hey.
And it's episode 2.
Yep.
That's more than one.
That's like 100% more than one. What, 200%? Wait. Math's wrong.
Math.
Anyway.
Math. My head exploded.
Sorry.
I died.
All right. Well, it's just Connor's show now. Brian's dead. I'll clean that up after. Anyway.
So, hey, what's going on, everybody? We're real excited to be back doing this.
Yeah.
In the Nashville, Tennessee.
Yeah.
I don't know what that means.
What? You don't know what Nashville means?
No, just the meaning behind the way I was talking. I feel really bad.
Me neither. Anyway, I'm Connor.
Yeah, I'm Brian.
Cool. And, all right. What have you done with your week, Brian?
Well, several things. Let's see. Now, the big thing for me as far as this week goes is PlayStation had their Essentials sale.
Mm-hmm.
And there were a ton of pretty dope games for, like, no money. So I picked up, like, 2 or 3. And I was fiddling around with those. One of them was Infamous Second Son. That is the second game I got a platinum trophy on.
Oh, okay.
Third game in the series, yes. But
yeah,
that game's a blast. That game is so much fun because you're basically the like angsty hipster superhero.
That's my favorite. Those are my 3 favorite words, actually.
Right? Exactly. And then I don't know, just working. That's always fun.
Working
is
not fun.
It's pretty garbage.
But
I don't like it. Yeah. As far as what I'm going to be doing next week, I think I am probably just going to be playing more of Dark Souls.
Okay.
And probably Dark Cloud 2. Oh, actually, you know what? I take that back. I can't believe I completely forgot this, but yesterday, I guess that's why I forgot because it just happened yesterday. Dragon's Dogma Dark Arisen came out for the PC, and it looks like magic, and I love every second of it. Yeah. Full 1080p. I don't have a 4K monitor.
It sold me because I'm going to buy the game on Xbox now.
Yeah,
which is going to run terribly, but I don't care.
I showed Connor the PC version last night, and he was like, this looks amazing. I'm going to get it on Xbox. And I was like, it's still going to be a great game, but it's not going to look anything like this.
Like,
but
it's fine.
You're still going to have a blast with it. So I'll probably be playing Dragon's Dogma a whole bunch this week. So
I'll probably buy that when I have extra funds.
The fact that they, it's, you know, I mean, it's an older game. It came out in 2012, but the full upgraded version is like $30
means nothing to us.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, that's pretty much what I did this week. What are you up to, man?
All right, so I made a list because I did a lot this week.
Oh, good.
In terms of consuming media and whatever. So I'm gonna start with movies because I watched a couple good movies this week that you might
Okay.
be interested in. So
Sure.
I watched Natural Born Killers. with
Oh,
Woody
snap,
Harrelson,
crackle, and pop.
which is a very unique movie. I don't know if it was a good movie.
I got you. I know what you're talking about.
I enjoyed it a lot because it has like Robert Downey Jr., like Woody Harrelson in it. And, like it's a pretty, I think it's like 1994 or 5.
And
It's pretty-
Juliette Lewis.
Yeah, that's her name. I totally forgot who she was.
She should be a Disney princess.
I almost called her Uma Thurman.
That is the exact
it was
opposite
that
human.
Same, yeah, it's that same era because I got the movie mixed up with Pulp Fiction for some reason. 'Cause they're
Juliette
kind of the
Lewis
same movie.
did not kill Bill.
She killed a lot of people though.
That is true.
Anyway, Natural Born Killers is about two psychopaths couple,
Mhm.
a psychotic couple who goes on a rampage down Route 66 and kills a bunch of people. It's a pretty good movie.
Yeah. I mean, if you're into that thing.
I mean, I
That
feel
kinda thing.
slightly. It's well written. I'm not speaking well today.
That's all right. That's why we are awesome. Okay. So what else? What else you watch?
I watched There Will Be Blood.
Oh,
Which have you ever seen that?
yeah. That's the sequel to There Might Be Blood and the prequel to There's Blood Everywhere. Correct, dude. That movie's insanity.
Okay, I'm not a huge Western fan.
Yeah.
And that movie is kind of like a Western, but it doesn't feel like a Western. It's just like,
It takes place in the West, but it's not a Western.
Yeah, it's
so I
really-
see what you're saying.
it's really interesting. Like, it's hard to describe what kind of movie it is because it's about a man who starts off with nothing. He's digging holes in the middle of desert somewhere trying to find oil in like the late 1800s.
And then he does.
And then he
Spoiler alert.
finds oil, and then it's about how he goes crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And then, yeah, I can't tell more than that other than spoiling the movie. But it's really good. It's a really good movie.
I agree.
Yeah, I love it. And then in terms of video games, which is what this probably should be more focused
That's
on.
all good.
I played some more Fallout 4 because that game is like my go-to time waster. If I just don't really want to think, I just want to shoot things.
Sure. Fallout 4 is good for that.
Fallout 4 is really good. I played Uncharted 2. I bought Uncharted Collection or with a remaster or whatever it was.
Yeah, for PS4.
For PS4 a couple months ago, and I beat Uncharted 1 right off the bat, and I wasn't super impressed. It was a good game. I liked some of the concepts, but it just wasn't hitting me. Then I started Uncharted 2 directly after that, and it still didn't hit me. So I took a break for about a month or two, and then I just got into it this week, and it's really fun. Some of the I just feel like Indiana Jones. So
It's funny. Uncharted 2 is my number one all-time favorite PlayStation 3 game.
it's really good.
That is actually the first game I got a platinum trophy on. Because I was addicted to that game. It was like, kill 500 people with blah gun. I'm like, okay. And I would just
can do
restart
that.
chapters with like really heavy waves of guys coming at me. And I'd be like, blah, 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 blah. I want my trophy. And foam. And yeah, it was good.
I walked in on him doing that. It is crazy.
I was like,
left.
get
I was
out.
like, I'm gonna leave. I'm gonna come back tomorrow. Then I played Need for Speed Rivals, which Brian recommended to me. I played a bunch of Need for Speed games as a kid, and this one's really fun.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird because you can't pause it, and that throws me off because I'm like, oh, I need to check my phone. I pause and just go, boom, into this oncoming traffic, and I'm like, oh, I lost.
Yeah.
It's just it's interesting. It's pretty much almost like Mario Kart because you get like EMPs and shockwaves. So it's like, I guess I was telling Brian, I was like, hey, I was racing with only skill, but like then I found out I could cheat, and I was like, sweet, I'm gonna cheat some more. It was like, yeah.
Does it have mushrooms and turtle shells?
There's nitros and EMPs. So yeah, we'll call nitrous mushrooms, and we'll call EMPs
Turtle
mushroom
shells?
sauce. Yep.
Sweet. Perfect.
And then I got into Hearthstone this week,
Oh, boy.
which I don't know. What do you think about Hearthstone?
I'm not a huge fan of most cell phone games. The ones that I do play are like ones that I can fire up for very short amount of time, play it, and then once I get called into the doctor's office or whatnot,
Gotcha.
I can just stop and not even stress about it. I'm not really into like the strategy card style games.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I understand why people like them. It's a big market. I mean, or else that game wouldn't be so popular, but just not for me.
Did you play Magic or like Yu-Gi-Oh growing up, or did you skip that part?
I've played Magic a few times.
Okay.
But it was with physical cards.
Gotcha.
With people in person. And that was fun. I mean, it was a good time with friends, but I'm not going to run out and buy a whole bunch of Magic cards and stuff to continually do that. I can honestly say the only card game that I ever really got into was there's a Resident Evil deck building game.
Resident Evil.
And it's hard to explain how the game works, but it's a blast. It's unbelievably fun.
Okay. I played a bunch of Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh! As a kid.
Okay.
And every once in a while, I'll have the mental itch to go play some kind of card game. And Hearthstone is perfect for that. It's one of the only games that microtransactions don't feel like a ripoff, because if you boil it down, you're buying card packs, which is what you'd actually do in the... If I was actually going to go, like, I'm going to sit down and really play Yu-Gi-Oh! Like, competitively, that's what I do. I go out and buy card packs. So it doesn't bother me as much as, like, EA being like, hey, you want attachments for your gun? Here, pay us $20 for a laser sight. And I was like, no, I'm not going to do that. So it's one of the only microtransactions that feels, like, right. Like, it doesn't feel,
But I hate microtransactions for the most part, but when it works well, and it's, like, something that is A, affordable, and B, is not required for the game to work properly, then I'm down.
Let me follow it up with, you don't have to buy card packs. You can win in-game currency. It takes a lot longer,
that's
of course,
cool.
But it's like you don't have to buy them, which is cool. But anyway, that's Hearthstone. And I for those of you who don't know, I used to play Smash competitively, and I played a lot of Smash Brothers 4 this week because I really wanted to do that and beat up some kids online.
Well, that's good. Fun. I was sad when you said that you were going to stop. But,
I just wanted to focus on other things.
You've done way more this week than I have.
Yeah. And anyway, that's
cool.
That's about all for me. I've taken up enough time for that. So,
no, that's fine. No, it's cool. It's interesting. I mean, weeks when you get a chance, especially when we both have full-time jobs, when you get a chance to do the stuff that you love as much as we've been able to, even with full-time jobs, it's like that's a huge deal. So I'm very thankful for that stuff. All right, man, we're gonna move on to something pretty cool. We talked about it last week. Just this concept. What game would be better if you inserted any video game character into it?
Okay.
So it can be any game. Any game world. It can be any game character. Mash them up. What would be good out of those, or what would be fun or silly or ridiculous or crazy?
Okay. So. And we each have a couple of these.
Yeah, I think I've got 2 here.
I also have 2.
So why don't you go ahead?
Okay, so first, I thought this concept would be funny because it'd be the easiest game ever.
Okay.
So I took Raiden from Metal Gear Rising.
Okay.
And put him in the original Super Mario Brothers.
Oh, sweet
so
Lord.
You just hit right on the D-pad and just mash the B button, and you slice through every obstacle in the game. But every once in a while, you got to jump over something.
Sure.
But basically, it's just a beeline to the end because you can just slice through everything. I thought that concept would just be hilarious to me. But it's like if you just took like a 3D model and just superimposed it on the old 8-bit sprites, that'd be just the funniest thing ever.
Mario Gear Rising.
And make it super bloody.
I'd play that.
So you kill everyone in one hit. Except Bowser takes 2. So
well, sure, because he's Bowser.
Yeah, but,
unless Raiden wants to jump over him and touch the axe.
Yeah, it's fine. He can wall jump or whatever. Like I thought that'd be hilarious, and I would totally play that game.
Does that game have mushrooms and turtle shells?
No, it doesn't. I don't know what you're talking about. But I'm trying to think of a title. So it'd be like Super Mario Brothers Revengeance.
Nice.
It'd be like, all right.
That's the one.
That's it.
That's the one.
I want to play that one.
Yeah, no further discussion needed.
Or Super Mario Rising Revengeance. Anyway.
Super Mario Rising is really good too.
So give me one of yours, Brian.
Let's see. This one I was thinking more of in a practical sense and how it would make the game pretty cool. Okay. I have a dumb one too, so don't worry. If you put Joel from The Last of Us in the first Resident Evil game.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, so does he control like a Resident Evil character?
No, he controls The Last of Us.
So the game's super easy. It's like pop, pop, pop.
Pretty much. I mean, because I love Resident Evil and I love the characters from Resident Evil, and they're like this super secret special Samurai Cyber Squad.
Samurai Cyber Squad.
But and they're great for taking down zombies and doing their stuff, but Joel is just like a monster when it comes to killing the undead and killing reanimated bodies. So
beautiful.
I feel like that game would be a lot more gritty and a lot more brutal if he was just running around just like, Ellie, get down, and just like cracking zombies in the head with a pipe with scissors taped to the top of it.
The game would be so easy.
Yeah. It would be awesome though. I really like the idea, and I really like that concept.
Okay.
And that goes for literally any Resident Evil. You put him in Resident Evil 4, he's like, rescue the president's daughter. He'd be like, that's not my job. But then he'd like develop an attachment to her, and he'd be like, Ashley, get down.
And then she'd be like, Leon. Like, that's not my name.
And then credits.
Then that's it.
Yeah.
11 out of 10. Game of the century.
I'm into it.
All right, I can dig that. So this one I thought would be funny.
Okay.
But
I'm sorry. Raiden in Super Mario is really funny too.
This
though.
one's also funny,
okay,
but
good.
for like it is kind of reversed.
Okay.
So I put Kirby in Splinter Cell.
Nice.
So my logic is that Kirby just runs around and bullets just bounce off him, and you like suck up a guy, but every guy has the same power. It's just dude with gun. So you just like.
So you just basically have unlimited ammo.
Yeah, it's just unlimited ammo. But like if you don't want to, you can still spit him out like a star, and people just explode. Like it's super realistic and gory, but it's like it's just Kirby just running around like, hey, it's just like sucking people up and shooting people. And
so it's Kirby Splinter Star Saga.
Ooh, that's good.
I like that game.
Ooh, okay, but yeah, so Kirby in Splinter Cell. I was like, yeah.
And he's got the little like Sam Fisher night vision goggle, the little tripod thing on the top of his head. That thing would be sweet.
Even though his head is his entire body.
Yeah.
Oh, his arms would come out through like this, like over top the straps. And it'd be dumb. Like
it would be the cutest tactical espionage game ever.
And you can do all the torture sequences with Kirby.
Oh.
Like,
but he's always got a smile on his face. Like,
where's my son?
You're sick. You're sick. All right.
Hi.
So my second one is kind of ridiculous.
Yeah.
But it could either make the game silly or the character legit and gritty.
Okay.
Playing as Super Mario in Max Payne.
Oh. All right. So.
He's like, the city is cold and unforgiving.
Is that
his little inner monologues just like getting all dark. He's like, they killed the princess and the toad.
All right, so does he control like Mario or
no? He controls like Max Payne.
Okay, good.
So, but instead of guns, he just throws fireballs.
It makes like the sound effect.
Yeah, it's like broink, broink.
Broink, broink. And people are just burning.
And these
like,
gangsters are just like just dying on fire. Yeah. So I thought of that actually like 2 days ago while I was lying in bed getting ready to go to sleep, and I just started laughing out loud to myself because of how stupid that is.
So like in the dream sequences, what does he find at the end?
He finds Toad saying, "We're sorry your dead family is in another castle." Oh my gosh, that was harsh. I'm sorry. Okay. Anyway, so that was brutal. All right. I feel bad for that one. So yeah, that was fun. And by fun, I mean I feel really bad.
All right, cool.
So let's see. The next thing we've got going on here.
Speaking of Mario.
Yeah. We have this idea here that we came up with last week. Everybody has their own favorite games.
If you play video games, you most likely have one that you like better than the rest.
Exactly. You also might have multiple that you like a ton or that you continually return to.
So down there.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm being way too progressive. Now, even amongst my favorite games, there are parts in it that I just can't stand.
Yeah.
Or parts that I'm like, ugh, I can't wait till this is over until I get back to the fun stuff. So we decided to come up with a short list of our least favorite parts or sections or segments in our favorite video games.
Yeah. That's what we did.
Yeah, and that's what we did. So we're not going to tell you, though. I just wanted to let you know that that's something we talked about. All right, next segment.
All right, news.
Yeah, no, I'm just kidding. All right, let's do this. I'll start here. So my favorite Super Nintendo game of all time is Super Castlevania 4.
Okay.
From Konami.
Anyway.
In my opinion, it's the most well-rounded. The graphics during the time when it first came out, I was like, what is happening?
Wow.
I can whip in 8 directions, and if you hold the whip button, he can like flop the whip around like blah 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 blah.
That's a sound effect I imagine the whip makes. Not him.
It should if it doesn't. There are 2 sections in the game. There's a level. It's actually the one that starts with that song. You start at the top of this monstrously tall staircase section. And on these platforms that you're going down these tiny staircases to are these purple shirt wearing skeletons with like rapiers. And they hurt you real bad because they're really quick and they hit you before you even get off the staircases. So it's like you're basically just getting stabbed a bunch without any way of defending yourself because your whip goes over their head by the time they're like stabbing you in the shins and you're like, oh,
I love it.
It hurts. And then also in that game, I don't know if it's in the same level. I haven't played the game in a long time. But there's another level where you start at the bottom of a giant staircase section, and there's this huge ball with spikes on it that is just moving back and forth at the bottom of the screen. And it gives you a head start, but after a certain amount of time, it just starts slowly going up as it's going back and forth. So you're trying your absolute best to walk up these stairs. Simon Belmont does not run. He moves with no haste whatsoever. So you're desperately struggling to get up this staircase and get to the very top without getting mauled by this giant ball of spikes. And when I was younger, that level was enough for me to just turn the game off because I died on it so many times.
Gotcha.
So yeah, that's one of my least favorite parts and one of my favorite video games.
Okay.
What about you, man?
So I started with Pokemon Red version. Pokemon Red version is an amazing game. It's the game that made me want to learn how to read. So
okay.
But there's a lot of that game.
God, you're young.
Yeah.
When you say things like that, man, I look around to make sure that I've got my walker with the tennis balls on the bottom for grip.
I'd be like, I need my prune juice. But there is one part in all Pokemon games that I'm not super into.
Okay.
Victory Road.
Victory Road.
Victory Road is the final cave sequence in almost every in every mainline Pokemon game.
Okay.
Where you fight the toughest trainers, the strongest wild Pokemon, and it takes forever to get through. And normally you're like, yeah, I beat the 8th gym leader. Like, that's awesome. And I was like, yeah, I want to beat the Elite Four now. But here's this cave, though. I was like, oh, okay. I guess I'll do this. And then, like, a lot of times you have strength puzzles, which are just block puzzles on a 2D plane. And then the only cool thing about the red version one is that a mole trace is in Victory Road.
Okay.
In the very original, I was like, oh, yeah. But mole trace looks really stupid in Pokemon Red.
Oh.
But, yeah, it's not a very fun sequence.
Okay.
But I trudged through it just to get through.
Yeah. Okay. Last of Us is one of my favorite video games ever in the world. But there's a scene where you run into this other duo of survivors. Have you played The Last of Us?
I've watched someone play it.
Okay. So.
Which is your least favorite answer, whatever you
I know.
asked me
It's
if
like,
you
I'm like,
played
hey, man, have you seen this game? I want to show it to you. You're like, I've already watched
I've watched
play
7 speed runs of it.
And I'm like,
and 100% run. You're like,
Anyway, so during The Last of Us, there is a sequence where you run into another duo of survivors. It's a guy named Michael and his younger brother. There's this awkward dynamic at first where it's like, we'll help each other out, but at the same time, I got to look out for my own, yada, 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 and everybody's all skeptical of each other.
Yeah.
But then there's this moment where you go into this, like, underground refuge area.
Okay.
And, you know, you guys are all just trudging along, but then all these clickers show up, and you get separated from Michael and Ellie, and then you have Michael's younger brother with you.
What's his name?
I forget the kid's name. I know. I keep calling him Michael's
I know
younger
exactly
brother.
because it's like, like, what's that?
I forget it. But so thus begins my least favorite section of The Last of Us.
Gotcha.
You start out in this little alcove where there's nowhere to go, and there are just a ton of runners. There's over 10 runners all just running around in various areas, and if you don't have a massive amount of ammo for that section, you're going to have a really hard time.
Yeah.
Because they never operate the same way, so when you die, when you start over, they have completely different patterns, and they might come at you differently. So it's never the same way twice, so you're never guaranteed to have consistency to like make a game plan.
Gotcha.
So that part right there, I got torn to pieces a bunch of times, and it was really frustrating, and I hated it.
That's
and
fun.
Michael's younger brother, Nameless
brother.
Nameless.
Come here, Nameless.
His name is Jones. His name's Jones. He gets in the way a bunch.
Okay.
A bunch.
Just shooting in the head. He's
and
ow,
it's like
Joel.
He's like, what's happening? And it's just like, I'm getting eaten. He's just like,
help, please.
Like it makes you miss Ellie a lot because Ellie's just like, hey, blah, and like throws bricks at people's heads and stuff, and you're like, oh, Ellie, you're awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's my least favorite section of The Last of Us.
All right, so next up on my list, I love Ocarina of Time.
Yes, you do.
Everyone knows this.
Yes, everyone
in the world knows this. But there's one section that I have done many times, and I still don't know the right way to do it. It's the water temple.
Yeah.
I know that's a really generic, like, roundabout answer, dude.
But it's very legitimate.
I hate the water temple.
Yeah.
Like, there's so many cool things in that temple that should make me like it, but it's just like, every time I have to go play the song, it's like, oh, he's raised the water level up. Oh, I raised the water level, so let me backtrack to this part of the level that I totally forgot how to get around to and lower the water level. Oh, I lowered it too far. So let me go back up to the middle level and try and fumble around and try to find this water level thing. So
yeah.
But its redeeming qualities are that it has Dark Link as a boss battle, which is freaking awesome.
Yeah.
And Morpho, I think it's Morpho, is the boss in the which is it's a little like it's like literally just like a cell,
like a mini boss,
like a big it's like the final boss. It's a big nucleus that goes around this big water thing. You have to hookshot him. He's really cool.
Cool.
Reminds me of The Abyss. Have you ever seen that movie?
Yes, I love The Abyss.
It's like that big water tentacle thing.
Oh, good.
Yeah. But yeah. Water temple sucks.
Like I said in the last episode, I never beat Ocarina of Time, but I got almost to the very end. But I do remember going through the water temple. I don't remember the water temple at all, but I do remember going through it with my buddy Aaron and being like, I absolutely hate this.
Yeah.
Every second of this is a nightmare.
Every second I am here is nightmarish.
I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. And so I gave him the controller, and he was like, sure, I'll figure it out for you. So I just watched him go through the water temple for me.
Did he have a better or worse time than you?
Back then, he just loved playing games.
Okay.
So I don't think he cared. I think he was just like, yeah, this might be frustrating.
Yeah, video games.
But I'm playing games, so I'm having a good time. And I was like just being a butt. I'm like, yeah, I only want it to be fun. Bing, bong, bing, bong. Yeah, so,
okay. Cool. So what's next up on your list, buddy?
Oh, yeah. I've got a third one. I remember. Yeah. Oh, do I ever have a third one?
Oh.
So, yeah. You know this. I am a huge, huge fan of the Dark Souls games.
Yep.
Okay.
Is it the whole game?
No.
I'm just kidding.
Because the whole game is glorious. Even though the games are extremely hard and anybody who plays the games could literally use almost any section of the game as their least favorite part because it's really difficult. But for me, my least favorite part is from the first Dark Souls.
I think I know what you're going to say.
It's when you get to Anor Londo.
Oh, never mind.
What did you think I was going to say?
Blight Town.
Oh, no. Blight Town is not a big deal. The only problem with Blight Town was the frame rate on the console versions.
Oh.
So the frame rate was pretty terrible on consoles. If you played Dark Souls on the Steam version, Blight Town wasn't a big deal.
But I don't have a super mega computer, Brian.
Well, you don't need a super mega computer for Dark Souls. It's an older game.
But
shut up.
All right.
But no, when you get to Anor Londo, it's just so bright and happy looking, and you're like, yay, I finally reached this place where I can find peace, comfort, and solace. And no, it's full of nightmares, and it's garbage. There are these gargoyles that are really quick, and they hurt you a lot.
Okay.
But there's one section in particular where you have to run up this giant platform, and there are two heavy bow knights at the top.
Okay.
Shooting like homing monstro arrows at you.
Ooh.
And there are no guardrails, so you can fall off at a moment's notice, and the platform you're walking along is like very thin.
Mm-hmm.
You have very little room for error. And many times, even still to this day, after playing it a million times, I'll still occasionally get caught by one of those and just get launched off the platform and to my death. And I have to go all the way back to the bonfire. And I'm like, now is the time I need to stop, or I'm going to scream and cry and
My
yell.
sanity is running low.
So yeah,
Cool.
that was my
Dark Souls.
that was my big one. Dark Souls.
I hear a lot of people say Blighttown's terrible, but
Blighttown is terrible.
I've never played Dark Souls. I don't know. I like my sanity, and I like
Maybe one of these days, I think it would be fun to do a playthrough of the first Dark Souls where you're playing and I'm just watching and
I'm
coaching.
like, I don't know what to do.
Be like, go over there, activate this, do this. This means that. Blah blah blah. And you're like, I just want to play Pokemon.
And for my number one game, it's Metal Gear Solid 3, which I've mentioned before is my favorite game of all time. But there is a boss battle that I know it's cool. Like, it's freaking awesome, but I just don't like it. Like, okay, so later in the game, there's a boss battle called the Fury,
Okay.
who is a astronaut with a jetpack and a flamethrower, which is really
Which
easy.
makes sense,
Which
yeah.
which is awesome. But it requires a lot of like sneaking. Of course, Metal Gear, but it requires a lot of most of the time you don't know where he is, and you kind of have to find him, and it scares me a lot, and it's not fun because like, oh, there he is, and then it's like he hits you with a flamethrower, and it's like, oh, you're on fire. Oh, hey, I ran out of life medicine. Oh, I'm dead. All right, let's restart. Like, and then you just do it over and over and over again, and it's such a cool sequence, and like the characters are really cool, but I just don't like it because it's just not fun. And trying to do that non-lethally is terrible. You can beat all the bosses in the game. You can do the whole game non-lethally, and that boss is terrible to do.
Wait. Metal Gear Rising?
No, Metal Gear 3. Oh, were you thinking I said Rising?
Yeah,
Okay.
my brain almost exploded. You were like, you can do that whole game
Oh, no.
non-lethally.
Well,
I was like,
actually, you can.
what?
You unlock a wooden sword
Oh, okay.
late in the game, and you can just beat the crap out of everybody
Instead of slicing
instead
it
of
into
slicing
pieces.
it into tiny pieces. But yeah, you can do Metal Gear Solid 3 entirely non-lethally, and doing the Fury that way is very hard.
Oh.
But yeah, it's not fun.
Doesn't sound fun.
But it's really cool. But it's not fun for me, at least.
I
I
believe
know
it.
a lot of people who love that boss battle, but
Sure.
that's just me.
Cool, man. Well, that's some interesting insight into some games.
Also, I had a runner-up thing that I think we both can agree on.
Honorable mention here.
Unskippable tutorials / cutscenes.
Oh man, we ran into that last night, didn't we?
In every game that has that, it's like it's not fun. It's like, oh, I've played this game 20 times. Can I just get?
Exactly. Now I am okay with unskippable tutorial, intro, story, prologue sequences if
Yeah.
it's your very first time firing it up.
Mm.
But if you've got here's the example. On Infamous Second Son, I have 2 full complete playthroughs. One is a good guy, one is a bad guy on the game. So obviously I've been through it.
I know.
I know what's going on. And I was like, I'm going to start up a new game because I haven't played this in over a year. And it forced me to go through the entire intro prologue. And
Gotcha.
because of that, I turned it off. And Connor just started laughing. I was like, nope, that's enough
He's
for
like,
me.
okay, that's. But yeah, I can't. Well, I can think of a couple off the top of my head, but it's like. As I said, Metal Gear Solid 3 is one of my favorite games, but it has a very long intro cutscene that you can skip, but it's like. It's skipping it takes a long time because you can like mash triangle to skip all the codec sequences, but then it still takes like 3 minutes.
And then
you're
everybody
like,
just
okay.
sounds like they're having a
Everyone-
stroke because they're like, Colonel.
Metal Gear.
No matter what, it forces you to stop so he can finish saying Metal Gear. It's weird.
Metal
It's like
Gear.
triangle. Metal Gear.
But yeah, unskippable cutscenes and sequences are not fun.
Yeah, man. I agree with you on that one. You know what? For me, that takes the cake.
Yeah,
Just
I was
gonna
like,
go ahead and say
'cause
that's the one.
we can think of specific examples, but that's the one that just like
That is
I
a
hate that
blanket nuisance that covers a lot of games, unfortunately.
smallpox blanket that just covers all of our favorite games.
Oh gosh, smallpox. All right. So
Anyway.
all right, I have some really good news stuff this week.
Sweet.
It's been pretty busy in the world of gaming. So let's get into the news. All right. First off, this didn't necessarily happen this week, but it is recent enough to where it's worth talking about because we didn't talk about it last week.
Okay.
Oculus Rift pre-orders are starting at $599, and
That's a lot of money.
if it was a standalone, I would be a lot more forgiving with it. But you have to have a Monstro PC rig in order to be able to run it in the first place. Therefore, if you don't have a Monstro rig, if you've got like a medium level rig and you want to pick up the Oculus Rift, that means not only you're going to be spending $599 plus tax plus shipping if you're ordering it online, but you also have to spend all the money that you're going to need to upgrade your video card. If you've got a bad processor, if you've got low RAM, I mean, it's a huge investment for people who don't have huge gaming rigs and people who are hoping that Oculus was just going to be a standalone that they could purchase. Now, I personally have a gaming rig that can handle Oculus no problem, but that $599 price point still seems like a ridiculous amount to me.
That's a new console.
That's more than a new console.
Yeah,
I mean, do you remember the backlash when the PlayStation 3 got announced at $599?
Yeah, dude, it was like, I was like, I'm never going to buy this console.
Exactly. Like, it took them an
crazy.
entire console generation to catch up to the Xbox 360 because of that.
And that's probably one of the reasons Xbox One is so lacking, because it was more expensive than the PS4 now.
It was. Well, because they were trying to force the Kinect on everybody. So that was their justification for having a higher price point, was including the Eye of Sauron. So anyway, yeah, just thought that was pretty interesting. I'm not worried about it. I am more interested in the PlayStation VR.
Same.
Because I can just hook it to my PS4, and it's probably going to be a lot less than $599.
Yeah. What I kind of worry about, or what I can see happening, is I can see VR exclusives.
Yeah.
So I could see, like, obviously I think PlayStation and Oculus are going to have the most. I think if you're going to develop a VR game, I feel like it would probably be shared unless you have, like, legal stuff. But I feel like some of like the higher end stuff can only be done on like the Vive, because it's been advertised as more like a premium VR experience.
Yeah.
But like, I can totally see that happening. But the worst case scenario is that every VR game that's made is an exclusive. But like, it's just, I don't know. I can see that just being a financial nightmare for me in the future.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So, all right, let's see. Moving on here. Halo. The Halo World Tour is going to be coming to the X Games in Aspen.
Okay.
They're going to be doing a big Halo World Championships tournament. I did look into it. The tournament is actually not going to affect the actual Halo World Championships.
Okay.
So it's part of it, but it's also a standalone, if that makes sense. They were saying there's going to be prizes and like $30,000 to be won at the tournament. Yeah, it's pretty.
That's awesome.
It's pretty awesome. Esports are starting to get a lot bigger.
Mm-hmm. I'm super glad that, because I was in esports for a while. And I went to MLG down in Louisiana a couple in October.
Oh, I remember that. You missed a game night because of that.
Yeah.
All good.
Yeah. I thought you were gonna chew me out, but
no,
yeah,
not at all.
I went down there and competed, but like MLG has some money, dude. Like it's not MLG. It is MLG. Sorry, has some money. I watched. It wasn't Halo, but it was Call of Duty and Dota.
Yeah.
Was alongside Smash Brothers.
Was it gnarly?
It was awesome. Because they rented a whole like convention center, and there was a lot of people in there.
Yeah.
I'm really glad esports are getting a lot more
Agreed.
A lot more groundswell in the recent times.
Which actually brings me to my next bit of news here. ESPN just announced a new internal division solely dedicated to esports.
I was hoping, if you didn't mention this, I was going to say something.
No. I trust me. I got you covered. I did my research for news this week.
Yeah.
But yeah, they were. It's only going to be on ESPN.com.
Okay. That's fine.
I mean, I'm sure they're going to touch on some stuff on their actual, live broadcasts and stuff. But their big promise is that the esports division is going to provide the same quality of content and coverage that users of ESPN.com have come to expect.
That's awesome.
So it's not going to be just like a little shoved in the corner, oh, and we also have esports.
Gotcha.
It's going to be covered with integrity and the same amount of excitement. So I'm pumped for that, man. That opens, if ESPN is embracing esports that much, then it's going to open a lot of doors for a lot of games and a lot of gamers to come out and shine and show off their skills and stuff. So
because ESPN, for all intents and purposes, is sports.
Yeah.
For most people, and a lot of people don't recognize esports as real because like, oh, it's not like ESPN, but like that's going to change a lot of people's view if they see that like ESPN is like, you know, supporting esports, which is awesome.
It's great. It's a big deal. This one, I thought you might be interested in hearing this if you hadn't already.
Okay.
Bayonetta 2 is being re-released as a standalone Wii U game at $30.
Yes.
It does not come with the original Bayonetta 1 because that bundled package, actually they stopped making those and they're actually really hard to find now, so now they're going on eBay.
You can get them digital.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you can get the digital version for $50 and it comes with a prepackaged, but if you want a physical hard copy, they're apparently really hard to find now.
I'm sure they are.
But yeah, Bayonetta 2 is being re-released as a physical hard copy.
That's awesome.
Standalone for $30, and they're doing it to kind of promote, and it's going alongside the Bayonetta 2 DLC release for Smash Brothers,
which is gonna be awesome.
So I saw the trailer for her, and she looks like she could be OP.
I've been thinking about all like the cool like combos, but I don't know. That when she comes out, I'll talk more about it. Because you know me, I'll be labbing with her for a while and trying to figure out all her gimmicks. But
I know it.
She looks really unique as a character.
Yeah, well, I mean, she's got 4 guns.
Yeah.
I remember thinking, Fox has got a laser blaster. He's the best.
Like, I voted for Snake, but Bayonetta was my second vote, so I was like, yes.
That's awesome.
All right.
Here's a little tidbit. I mean, it's not a huge deal, but it was something that a representative at Capcom said kind of, like... He kind of like snuck it in during like a bigger interview involving more stuff. But, okay. They said that they're going to start pursuing mobile games
at Capcom, right?
Capcom. But he did finish that thought with saying we promise to continue making games for our core users.
Okay.
So
at least they're not pulling a Konami.
Well, I mean, I don't know about that. I mean, that's kind of how Konami started too. They were like, oh, we'll still support blah, 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 but we're going to do more of a focus on mobile. And then Konami happened.
Yeah.
Konami Gate.
Resident Evil 7 only on iOS. You're like,
Yeah, exactly. So we'll see what happens. It's an interesting thought. We'll see if it turns into anything bad. Could be good. I don't know. If they made like a bunch of cool Capcom-based games for phones that worked well, I'd be down for that as long as they continue to make.
You know what would be really cool is if I could see this happening as like a spin-off, but you have like Street Fighter Mobile, and you do like the whole screen is your fight pad.
Okay.
So like you probably divide it, but you like motions you can do anywhere on the screen.
Sure.
Which would be cool.
A little difficult to do.
It'd be a little bit difficult.
But
it'd be a little bit difficult, but like you could map out your 6 buttons. But I think it'd be cool.
I mean, like Mortal Kombat X has a full cell phone release.
Really?
With like a full cell phone control scheme and layout and stuff.
That's awesome.
And I was checking it out, and it plays really well.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're going for the classic Mortal Kombat experience, you're going to be disappointed, but it is possible to make user-friendly fighting games on cell phones. So
it probably had to be dumbed down, but like that's something I'd play. But overall, I'm not super into mobile games. Hearthstone's an exception because
exactly.
But like every once in a while, something will come along that I'm into. But like overall, like if I'm gonna play video games, I'm just gonna buy a console. Like that's just who I am.
Correct.
But I know a lot of people who they don't like. A lot of people I grew up with who used to be really big gamers don't own any consoles and do all their gaming on their cell phones.
Yeah.
Which
and there are kids nowadays that are just like, oh, my iPad. That's all I play games on.
iPad's my Game Boy.
Yeah.
It's like that hurts me inside. But what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do?
Exactly. All right. So you've seen these Twitch plays, right?
Yes.
Like, Twitch plays Pokemon. Twitch plays Dark Souls. Twitch tries to play Dark Souls.
Twitch attempts.
Well, Twitch is actually adding its a separate directory on Twitch.com for Twitch plays. So instead of having to look up on the internet for like, hey, is there a new Twitch play? Yeah, you have to go to this link and blah, blah, blah. It's not advertised. There's just going to be a separate directory of Twitch plays where you can go to it. It'll show you all the Twitch plays that are happening, and you can just participate with the greatest of ease.
That's awesome.
I thought that was really cool of Twitch to do. They didn't have to do that at all.
I could see that getting a lot more popular now.
Well, yeah, because I mean, if it's easy to find, you can just be like, hey, I'm going to check out what's going on in the newest Twitch plays, and it's just there and available. I think that's awesome.
That's such a unique multiplayer experience. Like, hey, do you want to play instead of playing, like a game with like 60 like million people, you'd be like, how about everyone just plays one game?
Yeah.
Like,
how about 60 million people plays one game?
It's the equivalent of like packing a stadium full of people and handing everyone a controller and be like, all right, beat this game.
It's and then throwing up Mario Kart on the giant Titantron screen and being like, go, and it's like everybody's just running.
That would be, I could see like
that would actually be really funny.
That'd be awesome.
My brain just got punched with like a memory. There was a TV show on Nickelodeon forever ago. I forget what it was called. I forget what the whole premise of the show was, but they would do these segments where they would be like, all right, we're going to do an audience participation thing. Okay. Reach under your chair, and everybody had these like little pads, like these little panels.
Okay.
They didn't have buttons on them or anything, and a giant screen would come down, and they would be like, all right, everybody get this skier to the bottom of the hill, and the whole crowd had to work together by tilting the thing back and forth. It was like a smaller studio audience, but it was still that kind of concept. So wow, I haven't thought about that since I was a kid.
I don't know if I was born when that happened.
Probably not.
Okay.
Yeah. Were you born when Barack Obama became president? Never mind. Okay.
No, I'm 4.
8. Let's see. Okay, this one I thought was unbelievably funny.
Okay.
Dark Souls publisher Namco and Bandai have a new freemium game coming out. It is a golf MMO called Webzen On It Winning Putt.
Wow, that just rolls off my tongue.
Right? I mean, doesn't that just make you want to just dive right into a golf MMO?
So, it's not made by From Software. It's made by...
No, it's...
Okay, I was like...
No. Sorry. It's a Namco Bandai game.
Imagine if it was made by From Software. You'd be like, what?
And they're saying I think this is the funniest like oxymoron here. It's like, it will have a sim feel to it, but it will also have an arcadey feel to it that go beyond reality. So it's like,
that's not.
So it's both.
You'd be like, it's gonna have a mustard taste to it, but it's also gonna have ketchup taste to it. But like, that's not two different things. You can't do that.
Exactly. So I thought that was really funny. Out of sheer morbid curiosity, when that becomes available, I am going to download it and try it. There's no way I am not going to participate in the first ever golf MMO.
Why?
Where were you when Webzen On It Winning Putt came out?
Who wants that? Who came out and said, you know what we should have?
It's going to be popular, you know it.
I can see like a bunch of dads using it, like a bunch of older generation using it.
I'm going to go play my game.
If it had a better name, I think it would be a lot more, in the future, it's going to be more successful, but it's like...
Yeah. It's a very parent thing to say.
Yeah.
When
some golf.
No, when they, like, my mom got into Kirby's Avalanche for the Super Nintendo a long time ago.
It's a good game.
She called it her game.
Okay.
Because it was the only one she played, so she'd be like, I'm going to play my game. All right. That's like a very parental thing to say. So if like I could just picture a dad like going to play Webzen On It Winning Putt. And I think it has to be said that way.
Winning Putt.
Webzen On It Winning Putt.
Yeah.
Anime intro. But yeah, I'm gonna go play my game. All right, Dad. All right. So the big one here.
Big one.
That I thought was pretty amazing. It just goes to show that not all gaming companies know what's best.
Okay.
A total of $46,177,705 was pledged to video games on Kickstarter in 2015.
That's awesome.
From 480,382 backers total, and 421 gaming projects were successfully funded.
Yeah.
Shenmue 3 led the pack. They finished their Kickstarter with a total of 6.3 million.
Okay.
And followed very closely by that was the spiritual Castlevania successor, Bloodstained: Ritual of the Night.
Okay.
I think they finished with like 5.5 million.
Wow.
Yeah, stretch goals galore.
Yeah.
Like all kinds of goodies
That's
got
awesome.
added on, additional content. I love Kickstarter because when a gaming company says no, there's no demand and no voice for this game, we can be like, yeah, with our wallets.
We all want this. So
it's like, yeah, I think it's an amazing platform. When I first really started to realize that Kickstarter was a big deal was with the whole Mighty Number 9 thing.
Yeah.
Because Capcom has crapped all over Mega Man for so long.
For whatever reason.
And then Keiji Inafune was like, you know what? I'm going to make a spiritual successor. We'll see how much the fans want this. And it was like funded within no time. And it went well beyond what they were asking for. And I love that. I love that.
That's so cool because it's
a cool time we live in.
Yeah.
Where we can fund games we want instead of relying on bigwigs and a big round table being like, all right, go ahead and make it.
This is like the second golden era of video games. You have like the Super Nintendo like era, which I consider Super Nintendo like N64 era, which is like the whole like original golden age. And then now this is like the second coming of just everything being awesome.
Absolutely.
And me feeling like a 7-year-old child again.
And whether or not VR contributes to that remains to be seen.
Okay.
But it could be unbelievable. I mean, I've never touched a VR game to this day still. I haven't even done like a demo or anything. So we'll see what happens.
At UTC, they have VR, they have Oculus Rifts for rent over there.
Cool.
So I'll see if I can get some connections.
I was going to say, maybe we should,
I'll see if I can,
let's look into that, man. That
hand
sounds
some
dope.
people some money behind the alley and be like, dude, let me have this.
All right, so before we close out the news here, I not to bring it down or to kind of make a bummer here, but I feel like we should at least address this for a quick minute.
Okay.
In the past 20 or so days, we've lost 3 pretty amazing human beings who have, at least for me, brought me much joy throughout my lifetime. I was never a huge fan of Motorhead, but the stuff that I was shown and seeing them play live and hearing the stories about Lemmy, like I knew he was just like a crazy cool dude.
Yeah.
So I mean, I was sad to hear him go because he's a legend in the business.
Absolutely.
And I don't know, do you have any Motorhead memories?
I never listened to Motorhead, but I can respect what they do, and I've also heard stories about how awesome of a person Lemmy was.
How
and
crazy
it's just
he
a
is.
shame because me and Brian both like metal, and it's just a shame to see lose someone in the business.
Sure, absolutely.
It's a shame to see anyone die, honestly.
And then earlier this week, actually the day we released our first episode, I wasn't upset about it.
Yeah,
because it's way more important. David Bowie passed, and that is a man that was I've known all about him, and he was a part of my childhood with Labyrinth, and I liked his music as a kid, and I liked his music growing up, and then he did some pretty phenomenal movie roles, like playing Nikolai Tesla in The Prestige. I was like, that is so dope.
Awesome.
David Bowie is Tesla.
I need to show you a picture of there's this picture where David Bowie plays every single Metal Gear Solid character. Like there's
amazing.
a picture of him as like every single Metal Gear, like he's dressed up in all these different, like even the women, and it's just crazy awesome. What a fantastic human being.
Yeah, and the fact that he and Freddie Mercury and Queen gave us one of the coolest, most fun, uplifting, like triumphant songs ever in Under Pressure. Yeah, like that will forever be one of my favorite songs. So, and then literally just a few days later, we lost Alan Rickman.
Alan Rickman.
Hans Gruber. Severus Snape.
See, I haven't seen the Harry Potter films, but he is one of my favorite action movie villains in Die Hard.
Hans Gruber is amazing.
He's amazing.
Give me my detonators.
Dude.
That was a terrible Alan Rickman.
That was
but
terrible.
That's okay. He was just so diverse because he could be hilarious, but he could also be very serious and intense.
Sometimes in the same movie.
Yeah. Like,
yeah.
He was just so funny. Like, Dogma. I don't know if you ever saw that movie.
Nope.
It's a Kevin Smith movie. Very vulgar. Very sacrilegious. It does not bode well. Anyway, but still, it's a very funny, very entertaining movie, and he plays I think it's an archangel in that movie.
Okay.
And he's so funny. He is so freaking funny in that movie.
He got into acting when he was like in his 40s, dude.
Yeah.
Like
it was not an early start for him, and he killed it. It was just like, hey, you know what? I think I'm just gonna go be a legend today. And
I'm gonna go do stuff with my life.
Yep.
I'm gonna be a legend. Everyone's gonna love me. Be like, yep, you did that.
But yeah, so rest in peace, those guys. They brought us lots of joy in various
ways,
mediums, and so yeah. Anyway,
and we have one last segment for y'all today, called "Try and Stump Me" Connor Edition, where I came up with a couple questions. So,
I'm ready.
Last week we did a Nintendo themed one.
Okay.
Since you've talked a lot about Resident Evil this time, so I've done a Resident Evil themed one.
All right, let's see what happens.
I'm not super versed in Resident Evil, so I had to look a lot of these up.
I'll be Connor. Oh, I'm about to be proved that I'm a fraud.
Whatever.
I'm a fraud.
Whatever. Come on.
All right, let's hit me with it, man.
Right,
let's make it happen.
In Resident Evil 2, which weapon parts have a typo in them?
In Resident Evil 2, which weapon parts? Is it the handgun parts?
Hey, you're close.
To make the custom Magnum?
It's the Magnum parts.
Oh, okay.
They're mislabeled the Mugnum parts.
Yeah. Okay.
You had it, so I'll give it to you.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah, sweet. I knew what I was talking about.
It's like, Mugnum. I was like, that's not a gun. All right, so that's one.
Cool.
All right, so what are the requirements in Resident Evil 1 to get the rocket launcher?
I believe you have to beat the game in under 2.5 hours.
It's under 3 hours, but okay.
Well, I think I set myself at 2.5 just to kind of give myself some breathing room.
That's fine.
But I guess that still counts.
An hour-long breathing room. Okay, that's two. What is the only standard Ganados in Resident Evil 4 with an official name?
Ganados?
Standard enemy.
Oh, standard enemy with an official name? I have no idea.
Oven Man. It's a dude who pops out of the oven in the island.
That's amazing. I had no idea.
That's the only.
But that's the best piece of information I've received all day.
He's been officially named by Konami as the Oven Man. It's just
Capcom.
Amazing.
I think I get a point because I just corrected. I'm just kidding. No. I'll take that. All
right. So that's two. In Resident Evil 1, what chemical compound kills Plant 42?
Man, I took it way easy on you last time. I mean, if I was playing the game right now, I could build the chemical compound in the little room.
But you don't know the name of it.
Yeah, okay. I mean, it's. I think it's.
Okay, I'll give you a hint since they're hard. It's V something.
Oh, a V-Jolt.
Yeah, V-Jolt.
Yeah.
So that's three. And here's an easy one since you're complaining.
I'm not complaining.
Yeah, you are. What is the Japanese name for the Resident Evil series?
Biohazard.
Okay.
That was way easy.
All right, then I have a bonus one.
Okay, I'm ready.
What?
Chris Redfield. Sorry. That was really loud.
That scared me really bad. What?
Chris Redfield. I'm sorry. I got low blood sugar. Go ahead.
What gunpowder combination in RE3 produces an acid rounds?
Oh yeah. It had gunpowder in it. Gunpowder A and gunpowder B.
No.
I don't remember.
It's gunpowder B and gunpowder C.
I knew that. No, I didn't. Cool.
I was like, that's why I texted Brian yesterday and I was like, how much have you played RE3? He's like, a lot. Why? I'm like, no reason.
I did play it a lot back when I was like 13.
I was trying to think of like what's the most obscure like thing I could think of. I was like,
Yeah. Well, you got me.
I almost did.
I got 3 out of what? 6?
3 out of 6. I think I
Damn.
got 4. Whatever. I wasn't keeping track. Brian wins.
Yeah.
But what was I saying? It's like I was gonna do how many handgun ammo stack onto one slot in Resident Evil 4, and I was like, that's boring. I think it's like 50.
Yeah.
But
Cool.
That's all for today.
I like that.
That
All
was
right.
fun.
That brings us to the end here.
Yep.
Just got a couple of shout outs to give.
Same shameless advertising.
Perfect. First and foremost, I actually want to give a big shout out to Jesse Hunter, a good friend of mine. I played in a band with him back in the day. He is responsible for our totally dope Dragon Power logo.
It's freaking awesome.
Yeah, all hand drawn, pretty sweet. I love it, and I was really, really appreciative for him taking the time out to do that for us. So thanks, Jesse.
Thanks, dude.
Yeah. Also, again, I want to give another shout out to my friends over at MultiTap Podcast. They're doing big things.
Big things.
Very, very entertaining show. If you ever get a chance, go ahead and scope them out. They're on SoundCloud. I also believe they have a Facebook page. I'm not sure if they have YouTube, but I know they have Facebook and SoundCloud. So give them a check out, if that's a sentence. Check them out.
It can be.
Yeah.
Do you want it to be?
It could be.
Okay.
I'll probably edit that out.
No, keep it in.
Okay.
Keep this all in.
All right.
It's the best. Is that all?
Yeah, that's it for me.
All right, cool. So, in time for me to do the social media thing. So, if you guys want to send us questions, this is the part of the show where we'd answer them. But since we have 0 questions, we can't do that. So, if you guys want to send us questions or just tell us we're awesome or tell us we suck, whatever, send us an email at dragonpowerpodcast@gmail.com. What was that, Brian?
That is dragonpowerpodcast@gmail.com.
Thanks.
Hey, thanks.
And if you
thanking
guys
me.
want to follow me on Twitter, at DragonPowerCast.
It's us. It's us.
I run it.
I check the Twitter. You run it.
I run it, but it's us. It's technically us because there'll be Brian stuff in there.
Yeah, if you want to send me a question on Twitter, Connor will relay it to me. But
maybe.
Yes. He's like, it's weird. People only ask me questions, Brian.
It's only me. But yeah, that's Dragon Power Cast, since podcast won't fit.
Yeah.
So
at Dragon Powercast.
At Dragon Power Cast.
I like
it. Yeah, we also have a Facebook page, Dragon Power.
Yeah, it's facebook.com/Dragon Power.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's just Dragon Power.
Just Dragon Power.
Yeah. Cool. But
yeah, send us your questions. Send us your fan mail. Send us whatever you want.
Yeah.
If
there's any.
If there's any, that's fine. And if we have enough this week, we'll answer some questions. We might do 4 or 5, maybe, something like that.
Sure.
Depending on how long they are. And we'll both pick some of this out. But if you want to know about what I had for lunch yesterday, sweet. If you want to know what Brian had for dinner yesterday,
sweet.
If you want to know something about video games, which is probably what you're going to send us.
Yeah. Or ask us if you have any suggestions for segments you'd like to see or things you'd like us to talk about. Go ahead and shoot them our way. We'll mull them over, and if they're pretty dope, we'll be like, hey, let's talk about that.
Yeah.
Elmo's Letter Adventure was a good game. So thanks again for listening. We'll have another episode up next Monday.
Yeah.
And take care.
All right. See y'all later.